So it might come as a bit of a surprise, but gravel cycling is the broadest genre of cycling there is. You get some bikes with carbon frames that are built for nothing but aero gains, and you get others that get steel frames, for example, that are designed for comfort over long distances. But there's one thing that I don't think is spoken about enough, and that is handlebars. Is gravel cycling is the only genre that has both flat and drop handlebars. So here we have two Marin bikes, one with drop handlebars and one with flat, and we are going to explain the advantages of both bars. But before we go anywhere, let's take a quick look at the bikes. And to introduce them to you, we have the Marin Gestalt XR, and we have the more aggressive, dare I say, more mountain bikey looking Marin DSX. And while the handlebars do enough to set them apart, there's a little bit more than meets the eye. So let's take a closer look. So, starting off with the Marin Gestalt XR, and as you can see, it's the drop bar gravel bike for this video. And this bike is basically a more relaxed version of the much loved Gestalt with the geometry that's typically found on a cross-country bike. This bike gets an alloy frame, we've got a carbon fork and 700C wheels. And of course, we have a drop post right here, which kind of nods towards its mountain bikey intentions. So that is the Gestalt XR. Next up we have the Marin DSX FS, and that FS stands for front suspension, or I'm going to assume it does, because this bike has a suspension fork from SR Suntour that offers 60mm suspension, and we've got big old tyres from WTB with the Radlers, and what's really cool is that we've got a mountain bike group set from Shimano in the form of the Dior 12-speed. As you can see, this bike is designed to take gravel a little bit further, so this should be very happy hitting single track, should your mountain bike tendencies show you that way. So we've gone over the bikes, that's a really brief overview. If you'd like to know a little bit more, head over to Marin's website where you can learn a bit more about the bikes. But anyway, let's go into the meat and potatoes of this. Let's talk about these handlebars and the advantages of both. Okay, so let's start off with drop bars, and we're using the Marin Gestalt XR mainly because it has drop bars, but it's what you'd expect of any gravel bike, so that's flat tires and of course drop bars. But our first point is that drop handlebars offer a load of hand positions, which helps with comfort over long distances, as you can just move around and tweak your hand position as to how you feel. So this is where we can get into the anatomy of a drop bar. So up here, this flat bit is called the tops. Here, those are your hoods, and down here you have your drops. And as you can probably see, as I move my hands down to the drops, my body position changes. So that also affects aerodynamics. But generally, I spend a lot of my time in the hoods because it's nice and comfortable and I've still got access to my brakes. And then maybe if I want to relax going up a climb, I'll bring my hands back up to the tops just to straighten up my back a little bit, make it a bit more comfortable. When I'm getting a bit more rowdy, getting some descents in, I'll go into these drops where I have all of the leverage of my brake lever, but it also puts me down into a more aerodynamic position and helps me weight that front tire a little bit more. Then if we're riding on something really flat, I might just go into the drops here and not worry about my brakes so much, because this will support my upper body, but it will put me in an even more aerodynamic position where I don't need my brakes and I can just pedal away. Okay, so drop handlebars are simply just more aerodynamic, mostly because they reduce the size of my body's footprint when I'm cycling against the wind or any air. So even when in the hoods, you can see that it's bringing my elbows into my body and I am lowering my chest to the bars. That's just a more aerodynamic position as it is. Again, like I said earlier, if you want to get even more aero, you can lower yourself again. Of course, things are a little bit, I've got my dropper post down, so this isn't as exaggerated as it would be. But as you can see, my body's footprint is pretty low to the ground. So if we compare that to flat bars, my body becomes a bit more of a parachute because my elbows are out wider and I've just got more chest exposed to any wind or any air that's coming my way. So obviously aerodynamics is really important because it just makes cycling a little bit easier, especially when going into a headwind. So if you're looking for an easier time, perhaps drop handlebars are a bit better for you. So with my body silhouette smaller against any headwinds or air, cycling faster is simply made easier because there's just less drag. So if you're a racer or you just want to go as fast as possible, perhaps drop handlebars are the bars for you. So by reducing the size of my body's silhouette against the air, it's simply easier to ride faster whether I'm descending or pedaling flat surfaces at speed. This more aerodynamic position will result in less leg fatigue, which is key when out on longer jaunts. And if you're racing, any gain is an advantage, so any opportunity a rider can get to become more aerodynamic can be make or break, which is why you don't see flat bars on the gravel racing circuit. So another advantage of drop handlebars is that there's just a huge variety of shapes and sizes. And of course, there are different materials to choose from. So if we go into those shapes and sizes a little bit, we've got a few things to talk about here because there's just more bar to speak about. So we've got the back sweep, which is the angle of the tops as it comes back from the stem. We've also got up sweep or rise, which is the angle or the measurement taken of the rise of the tops than it is to the stem. We've also got a reach measurement on this, like you do on a mountain bike or any normal geometry, but that refers to the measurement taken from the tops to where the bar starts to drop down. We've then got flare, which is the angle of which the drops flare away from the center of the bike. You've then got your drop height, which is obviously the height of, or how low the drops go down. But then brands build in different levels of flex into a handlebar. So we've got things like Spanx VibraCore, which gets a foam insert inside of the bar. But of course, brands are able to play with carbon aluminium to deliver a certain level of flex. And that's excellent for gravel riding because where more often than not, there isn't suspension on a gravel bike, these bars can dampen all these vibrations. So that should reduce fatigue and keep you riding for a little bit longer. Making gravel bikes look a lot more like 90s mountain bikes, and exactly the case for the Marin DSX FR are flat handlebars, but they mustn't be shunned because they offer a wide range of benefits that might even improve your gravel riding experience. The first of which is that it offers better control over technical terrain. More often than not, flat bars are just wider than their drop counterparts, and this results in just a ton of leverage that you wouldn't get otherwise. With that extra leverage, you're able to get a bit more stability from the bike at speed, but what's really important is that you're able to muscle the front end a little bit better when you're going through technical terrain such as rock gardens or rooty sections. Then the flat bar shape will boost your confidence even further as it raises your body height and gives you a bit more of a rearward bias than would in the drops. What's also great about flat bars is that you get the full leverage of your brake levers without having to move your hands like you would with drops. All of this improves performance over technical terrain, mostly because you've got all of that braking when you need it and you've got a more comfortable, more upright position over the bike. In fact, a flat handlebar just offers better access to all of your controls. So you've got one shifter hung underneath the bar and you just need one thumb to operate the gears, and that's through a whole 12-speed drivetrain. And I don't know about you, but shifting gears through technical terrain, not having to move my hand off the handlebars, just offers loads more confidence. Gravel and bike packing go hand in hand because gravel bikes offer greater efficiency thanks to lower profile tyres and less suspension compared to mountain bikes. This allows riders to pedal further and pack more. So if you're a rider who likes to absolutely brim their bike packing setup, there's no better bar than a flat handlebar, just because you don't have drops to get in the ways of your handlebar pack. Handlebar bags that are designed for drop handlebars only come up to about 5 litres in capacity. While that is plenty for a lot of different things, you can't really go any bigger than that because that's where the bag starts interfering with your hand position on the bars and even your shifting. With a flat handlebar, you can carry up to about 13 litres. So obviously you can carry a lot more kit, but that all comes without interfering with your brakes or your gears. Think of your first ever bike when you were a kid, and I'm willing to bet that it came with flat handlebars. And because of that, flat handlebars are just more familiar to newer riders. While experienced roadies and gravelers will be very happy riding drop bars, it goes without saying that they come with a bit of a learning curve, especially if you're like me and you've come to gravel through mountain biking. So having a flat bar, again, you'll be used to it straight away. And for new riders, because of a drop bar's unfamiliar position, it will take you a little bit of time to get accustomed to them. And I'm not just talking about getting used to how it feels, I'm talking about developing the muscles. Because I know that during my first few rides, I definitely felt my back and my shoulders fatigue a little bit quicker than I would expect from a flat handlebar. So again, if you're new, perhaps getting into gravel on a flat handlebar is the best thing for you. But at the end of the day, which handlebar is best is completely up to you. Whether you're looking for aero gains, you might want to go for a drop handlebar. If you're looking for more control over technical terrain, maybe flat handlebars for you. And the best thing is that there is a gravel handlebar out there for everyone. So those are some advantages of drop and flat handlebars. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and thank you very much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.